And welcome to the Closed Fist. I am Russ. That is Joey. That is Will. That's about as creative as the Wombats in the creative department at WWE. Boys.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Howdy.
Howdy. And boy, WrestleMania has come and gone. We've had a chance. We've had a while to digest. It's kind of like a big buffet of a lot of stuff we didn't want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Couple of great moments, though. Couple of great moments.
You know, you lead with the Hardys then, I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
it was amazing. It was amazing.
I mean,
the only good part?
But it's so many things. I mean, we could sit here and nitpick, which we will. When your Intercontinental title match, I mean, if you're going to devalue a title any more than what it is, you put it on the pre-show? Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Especially when you got a 5 hour or 4 hour show there was? 5 hours?
5.5.
Yeah.
It was longer than that, I think. I mean, it started at 5.
You are correct because it clocked in at 5:18 without the pre-show matches. Without the pre-show matches.
And you're talking about 6.5, maybe 7 hours of people on their couch. There are dents in couch cushions right now that people are never going to be able to get out because they were on them for those 7.5 hours.
With no good payoff at the end either.
None. Zero. Zip.
Although the Goldberg match went over a minute, so.
That's a valid point there.
Oh my God. That was interesting to say the least.
Interesting's too interesting of a word.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? We all knew he was gonna be champ, but you know, I'm just glad that the Goldberg experiment is pretty much done.
You know, thank God that's over with. Thank God. There's too much talent on that roster to keep digging into the past.
You
moving
gotta have that
forward.
nostalgia for all those old fans, but it dies fast.
I wouldn't say died. I think it was on life support in the beginning, and then it's like that relative. You're like, I can't pull the plug. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And then by the time it gets to the end, you're like, okay, we're done.
But see, I agree with what Joey's saying about the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if it's someone who can go, I mean, Goldberg, I guess, can go, but The
For
Rock,
about 35 seconds.
The Rock could probably go still. You know, that'd be great. You know, cut good promos. He can all those things. But
And give full match.
Goldberg, it was painful. It was, you know, like Russ said, the Goldberg experiment. It was painful.
If
to
fans
me.
don't want to see a 30-second match, it reminds me of the old Ultimate Warrior matches. He'd run in, come around the ring, body slam you, and leave. Like, it was terrible.
Well, you know, but the worst part about the Goldberg promos is that there was a Monday Night Raw. He comes out. He's bleeding on his forehead. Yes, a fan kind of nicked him or whatever. But, you know,
Did he headbutt the wall?
Yeah,
did something.
he headbutted the wall in the back.
Something happened, you know, and he goes and he starts his promo. He stops because the crowd's like chanting his name and everything like that. Okay, you guys are making me screw up here.
No, it's the concussion from the wall.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the fact that you're sweating and you haven't even left the dressing room yet.
Oh man, but yeah, but that's a long walk though.
Oh yeah.
Really. I mean,
What about the walk and the ramp at WrestleMania?
No wonder why the Undertaker only did like half.
We were placing bets at the end of that thing. You know, how long was the entrance going to take? But then they popped him up in the middle of the ramp. But yeah, that thing could have took an extra 15 to 20 minutes if he would have had to walk the whole thing.
I mean, the guy had to have hip replacement surgery. I don't know if anybody knows that.
Now you make me feel bad. Thanks.
I don't feel bad.
Hey, but they probably looked at it and like, okay, we got to think of something because he could probably start at the top. By the time he gets to the bottom, the show is almost over.
Yep.
It takes him 20 minutes on a regular ramp.
Oh my goodness! But by and large, a lot of hype, a lot of a lot of build up. And out of 10, I mean, as far as the show goes, what would you give the show? Do you think?
6.
6? Yeah.
6.1.
6. I give it a 5.5. And the thing is, granted, we talk about, like the WrestleMania moments and, that brings the score up. And it's like, okay, if you take away those moments, how does WrestleMania stand up? And by and large, a lot of them still stand up. I mean, a fair amount of them. This one in particular, if you take away the moments of the Hardys and the Undertaker,
exactly,
it's
a 4.
Oh my God! I mean, I will say this: when when the Hardys came out, I haven't seen a WrestleMania crowd become unhinged. If there was a roof, if there was a roof on that stadium, it would have blown off.
Yeah.
Especially if they would have come out broken.
I'd go at least. You probably haven't seen anything like that since Daniel Bryan won at 30.
I was thinking about that this morning. Yeah. I mean, just and the way that they did it was actually good.
Yeah.
When New Day comes out, and I'm like, oh God, please don't put yourselves in this match. Please don't, for the love of God.
But New Day rocks.
But and you brought your booty juice.
And there it is, kids.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And they go, this is turning into a 4-way match. And I'm like, okay, this is how are they going to come out? And when their music hit,
place exploded.
The place just exploded. And then after everything was done, I kind of think, okay, how long before? Okay, what's up with the broken gimmick? Well, they had to. From what I understand now, they can do the broken gimmick because they paid off.
Oh, it's settled?
Impact.
Oh, it's officially done.
Well, I don't know if it's official, but it's about as close as it can be until it is official.
I know Matt's been throwing his little bits in here and there and his little accent on a couple promos, just sliding it in, just trying to work it.
Yep. So we're going to see it at some point. When exactly, who knows? But you take that moment and then the Undertaker match.
That's what I want to touch on just fast, is because because I think I try to keep up on this stuff. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I knew he might be down the road, but they didn't give any, where he was going to be done, and that's it. And I thought, it was kind of anticlimactic for me, being a fan for 25 plus years of Mark Calloway's work and as an Undertaker. Sorry, I'm not name dropping, but it's just being a fan of his work since WCW, NWA. I thought it was kind of anticlimactic, sort of, but it was still cool.
Yeah, maybe he'll be back next year as the other version of the Undertaker.
The Undertaker?
The Fundertaker?
Yeah.
Or maybe he's going to be Glenn Jacobs' running mate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, hey.
VP. Yeah.
Hey, don't you vote for him because he might choke slam you and tombstone you. But but it was like a piece of our, I don't want to say childhood, because we weren't necessarily kids when he came over to the WWE back then. But it was like 25 years in one organization.
Yeah.
And just watching his character just start out as a dead man, go to the badass bike rider, back to the dead man, but it never lost steam. I mean, he's always been, he's probably the icon.
Absolutely.
Of the whole organization. But it was really, really weird because you used the word anticlimactic, and I thought and after the match was done, I went back on the network and I watched his very first match, which was Survivor Series.
91.
And it was like, back then, to see a guy that big do the things that he could do in the ring, never seen that before at that time.
Yeah.
And anyway, and he almost started it's almost like he started a whole other, style. The big guy that can move.
Yeah.
You started. I think that's probably where you started to see like the athletes. Look. At him and like, hey, I could do that.
Yeah.
But it's sad to see him kind of go off into the sunset. But at the same time, it was painful.
I was gonna say, go ahead. Sorry, Joe.
Oh, no. You're 100% right. It was sad to see him just come down to the ring, every once in a while, so stiffer than usual. But, even the cutting a promo for him was hard at some point.
But he's literally like 52, I want to say ish. But yeah, I mean, just he wrestled like once, maybe twice a year. It's not because of scheduling. It's not because of
Health.
I mean, it was his health.
Double hip replacement, man. That'll do it. Because he had one last year. And that's why he didn't. That's why his work this year, it was. I don't want to sit here and downplay it because, like I said, I think he did. The body work is there. But that last match, he knew it was tough to watch. That was tough to watch. That last match.
Well, his last 4 matches were.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But this one, you were just like, man, that was tough.
It's like, can we end it, please?
Yeah.
But they kept it going. I mean, and you know what? For all the heat that Roman Reigns has taken, because he took a load of heat. Not that he wasn't getting heat before.
Yeah.
But I mean, we talked about it before the match, and I even started. I'm like, please, for the love of God and all that is holy in this world, do not have Roman Reigns win, because that heat.
That's not going away.
It's not necessarily wrestling heat either. You have wrestling fans that are so passionate about certain guys that you're talking about physical harm type of passion.
Yeah, but
people running in the ring and beating them up.
But I think it was awesome. I thought the Raw after WrestleMania and him just standing there for literally 4 minutes and they're booing the crap out of him.
What I would have liked to see out of that.
I thought that was fantastic. Not because I don't like Roman Reigns, but because the heat you're talking about, it was so real.
Yes.
That was. He was like, and he didn't have to say anything. He just goes, "It's my yard now."
Mic drop.
Done.
I would like to see in the old 90s where people were throwing cups at him and, the spitballs. That would have been, when they used to not let you do it but kind of get away with it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they confiscated
that's
all
true.
the cups.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Vincent Kennedy McMahon said these are not allowed in the arena tonight.
No signs.
No cups, you whatever.
But that would have been awesome, just a nostalgic throwback right there to just, crazy.
Oh, yeah. And the great, and it was, the match itself wasn't, it was okay.
It had its moments here or there.
I mean,
the ending was terrible. The 97 spears.
I mean, they probably discussed it before the match. Like, dude, I can only take spears. You give me any other move, my hip is probably going to be like popping out of place.
Or 19 Superman punches.
Yeah. I mean, it was just one of those things where you have like an athlete in the ring, like Roman Reigns. You have an old guy ready to retire. What do you do with that? It's like, okay, well, do what you guys can do, but.
Well, I think because once he'd hit him with how many spears, whatever it was, the number about 10, 9, whatever it was, and you saw, I was like, all right, they're just gonna, he was saying to him, stay down, just like the Triple H and Undertaker match in the cage. In the Hell in the Cell,
Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels to stay down. I don't want to do it, but hey, here you go. You're dead.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like that, though. It was almost like the Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair match.
He told me, he said, "I love you," and then bang, super kick. Good night.
Good night. But it was almost like that, though. I mean, for one time, because if you are retiring from the pro wrestling, business, they always have you lose
to a younger
to a younger cat. Once,
you're handing the candle.
For once, though, if anybody deserved to go out on a win, I thought it would be the Undertaker.
They blew that 3 years ago or 2 years, whenever that was.
They should have went out 25-0 and been done with it.
When Brock Lesnar beat him, that was it. Once the streak was done, it was over with. That whole thing. Dude.
Yeah, I know. I know, but it was like, you're talking about a guy who had his chances to go to WCW way back when it was the Monday Night Wars, and he stayed. And he went through the ups, the downs, everything in between with that company for 25 years.
Yeah.
To me, I thought he deserved to go out on a win, but I understand, you want to put the younger guys over,
Pay it forward,
and all that stuff. But I think on the to me it just didn't sit right with me.
Hogan, who never wanted a job to anybody, not job per se, but he lost the Undertaker. He put the Undertaker over. You know what I mean? Like
put The Rock over too.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah, but I think probably the signature moment of the whole show was the very ending, when he stood in the middle of the ring and took his robe or the coat off, the hat. I'm like,
his gloves.
Please keep your pants on. That's all I was asking for.
Ah, chaps.
Chaps. But it was like, okay, I see, we're seeing this going on. I'm like, oh, okay. This is, then this is it then.
It's that unreal, real, surreal, just awkward feeling of this is it. But the way that it happened, I thought it was pretty cool.
That was classy. That was good.
Yeah.
He hit the word surreal. That's maybe way more. When I said it was anticlimactic, yes, but I think it was more surreal because you're watching it and you're like, wow,
it's that true end of an era.
It's really done now. That's why I said it. Maybe I had to watch. I've watched it twice now, and it kind of sank in a little more. The first time I was like, maybe because I was here or whatever. But it was surreal, I guess, is the best way to do it. And you take it and you think back 5 years from now, that's a WrestleMania moment right there. That's what that is. We'll be talking about it.
Yep, and I think, sorry about that, but I think that, when you bring up WrestleMania moments, that is like, of the WrestleMania moments that we've witnessed, that's probably top 3.
That's why I said give it a couple years to sink in, and you'll think back. That could be at the end of the day. It could be number 1 eventually. Right now it's like, is it still fresh in my head? So it's like it still hasn't sank in yet. But it could be. Andre the Giant, Hogan slamming him. That's probably always going to be the number 1 in WrestleMania 3 for a WrestleMania moment. But it could be in there, like you said, top 5 for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I guess, when you're saying, are we coming to grips with the fact that we're not going to see?
That's kind of what I mean. Is like,
It was weird, how it's normally the sad moment when that star retires and loses the match, but it was more of a relief on the look of his face, as opposed to the Ric Flair's crying or the Shawn Michaels crying, and it was just more of, I can kind of mosey on into the darkness and be done. And
going back and watching his very first match, just to watch him come out. I remember watching that Survivor Series live as it was happening, with a few family members. I remember just watching, like, what in the hell is this?
Yeah.
And little trivia here. Do you recall his very first manager?
Brother Love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. That.
And I haven't watched it since 1991.
Wow.
Yep.
That was awesome. And Ted DiBiase, introducing
$1 Million Team.
Yeah, the $1 Million Team. Great memories. I guess that's what I guess that's what this is all about. That's when the love affair
started.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I followed the character since, like I said, since before he was the Undertaker. He was one of my favorites for a long time. You know what I mean? They did some cool stuff with him, and I thought, he expanded the business from the side of the big guy. Like you said, the guy who can move. from the old school. That's what the move was called, old school. You know what I mean? Walking the ropes and you know, all that stuff. He did
the best striker in the game.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But you know what's weird in watching like some of the older pay-per-views. You know, I saw Big John Studd.
Oh yeah,
You know, that was your prototypical big guy.
Yeah.
You know, all fists and no.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
no
leave
real
Hillbilly
movement.
Jim out of this.
Hillbilly Jim. Oh,
Mud-Lick, Kentucky.
don't go messing with a country boy.
Boy. Oh, yeah.
my goodness.
That should be the intro to this show.
I have the wrestling album at the house.
Oh my God.
Pile driver, nice.
But yeah, I mean, it was. It's definitely an end of a generation. Not necessarily end of an era, but an end of a generation. But other than that, I mean, the Hardys coming out, winning the tag belts and everything like that. You know, the place coming unglued, unhinged, which was great. But what else other than those two things? What sticks out to you?
I mean, even the women's matches were terrible. I mean, it really just didn't get over on me this time.
Yeah.
Seth and Triple H wasn't bad. Seth and Triple H
It's
wasn't
okay.
terrible. I didn't really enjoy the multiple pedigree to end it. You know, yeah, I thought that was a little contrived, a little forced, as they say. You know what I
I
mean? It
thought
was
the
like,
whole campy
you know,
Stephanie falling through the table. Oh my God, what did I do? No, I'm gonna lose. It's so
Well,
overdone. It's not even funny.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the lack of creativity.
yeah.
You know, it's almost like, you know, they knew, okay, we have the Hardys boys coming back. We have this ending with the Undertaker. I think we could take the rest of the show off. That's what it seems like.
It's true.
Yeah, they called in.
Yeah.
They really did.
You know, I mean, it's like, okay, we have this stuff. You know, let's just put on the rest of the matches and then we'll see what happens. It's like,
Because I don't even. I mean, I watched it and I don't a couple times now, and I don't even remember. Like, the Bray Wyatt Randy Orton was just
Don't
kind
get me
of.
started.
You know, it was just kind of. And I think you hit the nail on the head after the entertainment about halfway through the show, after the, you know, and you were like, it took the wind out of the sails of the whole show, and then you just sat there, just kind of like, all right, this is, you know, just, what are they doing, you know?
you know, it's as soon, because the show actually, the crowd was into it at that point.
Yeah.
They really were.
Well, after the Hardys, yeah.
Well, how can you not be, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Pitbull comes out.
Delete.
Oh my God! And I'm like,
Go bye-bye.
what are you? I'm like, they're serious. They're seriously doing this right now. And I think it was like 10 minutes, at least.
I fast forwarded that.
Okay, yeah. But it was like 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden the Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton comes on. And it's like,
And then they did that stupid locust thing in the middle of the ring, and
I'll tell you what though, I'll tell you what, that was a little creative right there.
it was, but it did nothing.
Yeah,
though, you know.
yeah.
I was hoping to see Sister Abigail.
That's what I wanted to see. I thought for sure. I've been saying on this show for a couple weeks. I was like, I thought for sure that they were going to do something with Sister Abigail. Like, I thought somebody was going to come out and interfere in the match. But that was also before the Superstar shakeup and where Bray Wyatt was going to go. We'll get to that.
But
Let down.
Yeah. But you know what though? It isn't that Bray Wyatt lost so much. It's so much that they're reverting back to 20 years ago or 30 years ago of what the main guy has to look like to me. And it's like, stop it already. We've seen this. Randy Orton has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Not that he hasn't done well. I am a Randy Orton fan, but at some point, you have to look at the scope or the landscape of the wrestling business, and you have to say, okay, where is it going? What appeals to the wrestling fan now? And I got to tell you, it's not Randy Orton.
I agree.
Not
with
at this
that.
point in time.
No.
They've kind of moved out. Like I said, we were talking about this before. The indie wrestler and people who can work. It doesn't matter what you look like anymore. It matters about the in-ring ability.
Right.
But the problem, I mean, I don't know if this is correlation or whatever, but it's almost like, I don't. Do you think ticket sales are down or viewership is down because of this?
I think viewership is down because it's not entertaining anymore.
I think the viewership's down because us older people that grew up with this is a joke to us. The younger kids are always going to be there. It's wrestling. They're going to be there. But it's the parents that pay for all this stuff that are not watching it anymore, that can't get into it. There's times I fast forward through the whole show. It's not appealing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, Randy Orton. He's like a 14-time champion, 13-time, something like that. It's like, okay, we're past him. Mm-hmm. We're over.
Unless you make him some sort of huge heel, which is where he excels. He's not a face.
But even if you put him as a heel, it's like he's done. You know what? I think he's flip-flopped so many times.
True. Yeah.
It's like
it's the worst.
You know what? It's like you can only flip-flop up a guy so many times before you're like, okay, he's a heel again. Oh, right. Gee, he turned face again. Oh, he turned. It goes back and forth so many times. You're like, yeah, okay, who cares?
I mean, yeah, his dad was always a heel.
He stayed there.
Yeah.
You know?
Him and his cast.
And his dad did the first RKO, by the way.
Yeah.
Did see that video, yes. I think Randy should start branding people.
Yeah, right?
That was funny. But, but I struggle with the rest of the show. I mean, I really do. I mean, and not only the rest of the show, and another WrestleMania we'll call it like a mini moment, was when Bray was walking out and the fireflies.
Oh, yeah.
And the 80,000 people. I mean, you saw 80,000 fireflies right there. I mean, I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And then you take all his steam away and throw him on Raw and put him in a match.
You'll be able to vent in a couple minutes.
I was okay, we can vent in a couple minutes. All right.
The steam is building.
Because I just had. Oh wait. Let's talk about that.
I saw your eyes perk up.
Yeah,
you're like your dog. I got to put the choke chain on.
Yeah. No.
Saw the flame in your eyes.